Yo, welcome back to the channel. It's D here. It's Sunday, May 7th, 2023. Just ripping up NHMX Jolly, as known as Jolly Roger from back in the day, from when I used to race here in ESC. Anyway, Pete and I are ripping some motos here. We're gonna do a lap with me shortly, and I'll tell you what I see on the track, and then we'll get into a little bit of what we're working on, or I'm working on, and yeah, I got a little fun like lap or two on a BJ's 125. So did a bunch of things, changing some stuff on my rear suspension. But here we go. Here's the start stretch at NHMX. Typically in this whole track I'm in third. There's a couple spots I can hit fourth, but I just wasn't pushing it that hard today, just trying to do some motos. Here you go down the straight, start straight. If you were racing motocross, you'd go this way, or J-Day. And then there's that like table. There's a right-hander inside or outside. I give you a vision of both lines. I was outside that time. Going outside here, kind of jumping up that hill. It's a hard landing on the top. Going outside on this long sweeper. I like that berm. There's like a kicker there that was all rutted up. All the lips on the faces were not sharp today. They were not built up. So I was going outside here. They changed this section a little. It's got like little roller. I could only roll them fast and stuff. And then there's the jump going down the hill. That's like a elevator drop or whatever. The downhill right-handers, little kicker there. A right-hander here, inside outside line. I like that inside. And then here I'm practicing the inside kind of flat track line. I'm not good at it, so I'm practicing that. Just kind of bunny hopping that mound. This mound, I'm just letting the bike go over it, then hitting this table, overshooting that. Here's where I should be getting fourth gear, but the washboard was ferocious today. Up this slight hill incline left to the Intimidator, hitting the Intimidator, kind of squaring it up. No risky business today, just trying to land my stuff. So there's a right-hander here, sandy section, nice ruts in the sand. This was like a double into a left-hander that shoots you down the sand hill, which actually my favorite part of the track is this. Then I was doing outside turns, standing up, third gear, trying to stay balanced, hit this table, and inside outside I was going inside here, which brings it to the outside. I tried them both. This was the better route, but I was cutting that end of that turn. Then it's like a gradual flat track downhill left to this table. Now we're doing a flat track left, and that's one lap at NHMX with me. So the track today was hard based. I changed the tire to Dunlop MX52. It's like the older version of the 53. I like it, but not as much as the 33. I think that I got more like less hold up on the sidewall. So today also I was messing with my suspension. My bike felt like it was dragging ass a lot, and I was messing with the high speed compression on the shock. I turned it out, but my compression's so far out that I had to like turn that out in as well to get that. And I rode it like that. It felt more, I don't know if I want to say springy, but I just didn't like it. The traction wasn't there that I was looking for, so I made a little pit stop. I'm turning that back. So I was at like, I think I'm 2 out on the high speed. I went like to 1.5, and I didn't like it. There goes Tony LaRusso, the owner of the track, ripping. So now I get back out here, and I like the bike, or I like that rear shock feeling much better. But when I got back in the pits, I found that my sag was at 110, and I wanted to be at like 105 for my liking. I put it at 103, and it was much better. It just made more sense. Anyway, Tony LaRusso owns this track. I used to race with him in the expert class once in a while when I decided to race, because I wasn't really fast enough to keep up with those guys. But he's multi-time champ in NESC motocross racing program. He has this track in MX 101 or NHMX 101 in Epping near the New England Dragway. Both tracks are like kind of hard based. I prefer this one. There's a longer lap and you really can stretch out the bike's legs. It's, you know, third, fourth gear if you want. On a 125, you'll be into fifth if you're good at keeping the revs. But so I'm practicing with my buddy Pete. I definitely am focusing on a couple things, and I always repeat myself, but I'm repeating myself in my head, and I'm just letting you know what I'm thinking when I'm riding. It's just that it's instinct to weight the outside peg, and I just got to remind myself that all the time, especially like situations where spots like this and this flat track one, just lay off the clutch and let the bike roll with the engine brake and weight that outside peg. Here as well, it's a flat track, kind of off camber, hard base, just helps with the traction. So me and Pete were working on that, or I told him that's what I was working on. He said it made a big difference. Sometimes you just gotta like talk to each other. You need a riding companion to bounce ideas off of. I've practiced alone for a long time, but I prefer to bounce ideas off friends, and we have a great group this year, last year or recently, to do that. You know, a bunch of people: BJ, Clint, Chad, Jesse, Ryan. You know, we got people. I also met a fella, Nick, today. If Nick's watching this, him and I were discussing suspension also. He's got a KTM 250, I believe it was. Yeah, it's got to be a 250. And we're both doing different setups. It's a different chassis. He's got a older one. I want to say it's a 21, so he's got the older chassis. I'm on a 23 Husqvarna, so different setup. I like my bike soft, and I prefer it stiffer for a moto like this, but I can make it work everywhere. So in the woods, I need it soft. So here's Pete. He went by me. This dude was crushing it today. I was getting off earlier than him, and I'm usually the endurance person. He was doing 20-minute motos, not even knowing it. I got off at 15 minutes. Somehow I just felt like I had enough. This track beats my back and hands up because it's hard, like landings, or just hard base. The washboard section, a lot of like dead drops, I guess I would say, like dropping down this hill's boom, it's dead. These roller whoops, it's kind of like Southwick right here. Then you hit this kicker and it's like a dead flat drop. It's weird, but it's hard packed, so it just affects my body differently than the woods or whatever. But I mean, like Southwick does the same, a lot of the motocross tracks. My hands blistered up really bad end of the day on this one. I did too long of a moto. So we did 2 motos, and then I did a third moto that was lengthy. It was over 20 minutes, and I kept going because Pete jumped into my moto towards the tail end, and I was like, I gotta like ride with him. I want to say it was the moto after this one, or this one. No, it was this one. Anyway, I ended up giving it as much as I could, but he was pulling, and I was just gassed also. No excuses. He gets out in front of me, and he does really well. We're trying to go to the J-Day at Unadilla this weekend, and that is the big challenge for the weekend. So I started jumping this jump right here, the downhill. I used to always do that back in the day, but it's just not really any reason to do that, or to do it in case someone's down on the other side. You can't stop once you're in the air, but once you hit that, it's such a cool feeling. It's like a gravity drop. All I can say for advice on hitting that is like you gotta kind of like bunny hop it like you're on a BMX bike and just float over it. Make sure your front tire clears and you're all set. But like I was in third gear lugging around this whole track, and it's great on my bike. So, and I think Pete was in third gear also. He's on a 450, I'm on a 350. The Intimidator, same thing. Third gear, just it's all forward momentum, lug it. I came up short a couple times. As long as your front wheel makes it and you don't get your seat to rebound you or buck you off the bike, you're good. And today they turned the sprinklers on. There was a nice mud patch in front of it, got a lot of tire spin, so you didn't get the projection you wanted off the lip, which was a little sketch, but it was no big deal. No harm to us today, so that's good. But yeah, so Pete's ripping this turn. I like cut it right there. I was trying to cut that just to make it shorter, stay out of like the bumpy lines. And same with here, I was cutting on the inside, sitting down over that jump, it pops you up, you don't want to go too high. I was trying to flat track these insides as much as I can. This was a nice straightaway. Usually I get going good. I just wasn't pushing like I usually would, or I haven't been to a place like this to push lately. But all fun, back on a motocross track. It was amazing. Here's BJ's 125, me piloting it, and don't make fun of me. I'm not a two-stroke rider at all anymore, but 125 is weird. You'll a lot of shifting. You'll be like in third gear, and you think you should be able to rail that berm, and it like bogs down. So like you're gonna ride this thing like holy high hell revs, and not beat the shit out of it, but you have to like keep it in the revs. So in that turn, I gotta shift down to second and then hit third. But it's a lot of timing, right? Because you gotta shift, you gotta stand and get it all the combinations right. But man, this is fun. I know why BJ rides this, so it beats the hell out of you. You gotta work hard to ride this bike fast. And I just did a couple laps on it, and we're just messing around. This bike is pretty fun. It makes you want to like buy one just to play with, but leave that to BJ and everybody else. I'm not a two-stroke guy anymore, but it's definitely fun to just mess around. Anyway, continue to watch. I think I do like a lap on this 125 gas. Like and subscribe to the channel. Holler out after me if you see me anywhere at the track. It's cool. You can come ask me questions or put your face out there so I can put face to names. And like I said, I met Nick today. He's friends with BJ, another friend of mine, and small world. It just all comes together. But like and subscribe, comment if you'd like, and we'll catch you at the next. Later.